My name is Lala Skolo, aka Mutoko Vandana Vandana Satoriko, Tabakamafuko, Tabakamabu, Osha Otokale Poloko. I'm not alone as always, I'm with my sunflower.
There we go. Even if you butchered my name, it's fine. But Tobela Kemolocha and hello. You can see today we are on like this different setup, but we look good either way, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Everyone will want to be hosted.
We want to be hosted. Yeah.
But how are you?
I'm fine, fabulous, fantastic. HIV negative and coronavirus free.
I'm not sure about that. I'm good. Like all is well. But as you can see, we are with our guest, and welcome to the third ever episode of the Kasi Uncover. And we are with
Bra-Godfrey.
Yes.
Bra-Godfrey. Bra is the name, Godfrey is the surname. Are we clear?
Am I happy with that?
Much better. So, Lee, you are the one who's good at this. And asking people who they are, even if you see them. Even after having seen their ID, you still ask, tell us who you are.
No. But that's okay. Bra-Godfrey, welcome to our show, to Kasi Uncover, and we are right here to uncover some of the stories that probably you and I don't know about in this community of Diepsloot. So, just in a brief, please tell us who is Bra-Godfrey.
Yes.
Yeah, Godfrey is one of the community member from 1995. Yeah, I would say I grew up here, day in, day and day out in Diepsloot. So, yeah, I've been here, I've been involved in sport, and then I'm from Venda. My full name is Godfrey Simthumule. Yeah, that's me.
There you have it.
Yeah, that I will never be able to pronounce it.
Never
in my life.
Don't even try, because you're gonna butcher it.
Yo.
So, Bra-Godfrey, I heard you mention that you've been the leader from 1995. Is that right?
That's right.
So basically, you are more like, let me just, for lack of a better word, I'm gonna use like the ancestor of this hood, which this township, which is Diepsloot. I think my first question would be, why choose to be part of the leadership from then up until now?
It was not a choice, eh? It just came automatically when you start living with people, when you are active where you come from. Immediately when you settle in Johannesburg, wherever you settle, you're going to have to participate in activities. So that's where we started playing football. We created a football team. We were young. I was still studying, and so I found myself getting involved in lots of things. And by the way, those days, if you remember, I know you're not there, but when we started, there were a lot of elderly people who were less educated. So most of the things I would translate. So they wanted me next to them all the time, these elderly people. So that's where I started to get involved in the community meetings. I would be writing things down and all those things. So that's how I started to get involved. And then later on, we get very busy with sport from day one. And then my team was one of the best teams. It was only 2 teams actually. It was Extension 1 team, which was Happy Boys, and Extension 2 team, which was under Brachali and Wosizwe and Peter School, so it was only 2 teams. And then we used to play against each other, and that's how we started getting involved with the community.
Just to take you back to when Diepsloot was established, like in 1995. Please just tell us where you started staying, because we do hear, Lalas, that number 1 was used as the reception, and there were others that came and settled at number 2, and then bit by bit they went elsewhere to settle. So where did you start staying here?
The area became a reception because there was people coming from Stratham Park, around Randbeck, Rema Church. Those people, they were evicted from the farms, from the plots. And then they went and slept at the Randburg Civic Center, which was a municipality by then. When they were taken to a better place, it was in the bush around this area, which was a plot. It was just an empty plot. And then that's where they were, it was a transit camp where when we get in, we have to have a transit card to enter. There was a security, there was a fence around. When we arrived here, there was something that was happening around the extension 2. They were installing the toilets and the water, and then cutting off the stands and all those things. So that's where the area was next to the number 1 taxi rank, opposite. That's where we were. It was next to the river, right there next to the Sanko office. There was a tank where they were selling paraffins and stuff. I used to live right there at that corner, right at the cave, that area. It was 235 shacks that were coming from Rema. Ray Makulia from the Rema Church, he played a very big role to make sure that the municipality get that land for us. And then later on, Extension 2, then people started coming from Zevenfontein, and then thinking maybe those things they are going to give the stands to us. You know? So they flocked there, they gave themselves those stands. So they thought maybe we are going to be given those tents. And then Rona on our side, we were sleeping inside the army tents. Yeah, we started with army tents, where when you want to go and sleep, you have to crawl in. Yeah, you crawl in, you sleep, and then you cook outside, and then you crawl in, you eat, and then you sleep. And then that was, yeah, it was a lot of, it was a camp. There was no mkuku.
Yeah.
By the way, because I'm from Venda, I didn't even know what mkuku is. You know? So it was for my first time to see such a setup, you know. And later on, we get comfortable with it. And then we were guarded 24/7 by security. There was no extra people that were coming in. And Extension 2 was established the very same year after we were relocated, you know. And that's how Diepsloot started, you know. And people started to be brought from Alexander. But before they brought people from Alexander, they brought people from Logosrand. Because the Extension 2 people were coming from Zevenfontein, which is where the Stain City is today. Because they were making a space for Stain City to be developed. And then the government went and took people from the Logosrand. Logosrand, it was a dumping site. So they brought them here, and then they went to Fairlands under the trees. Our people were living under the trees, next to the rivers, you know. And yeah, they started collecting all of them. Holiday, those areas around Randburg, because the white people never wanted us around there. During the new era, the democratic time, the white people never wanted us around their suburbs. And they hated the fact that we were living in the most of our fathers or grandfathers or uncles, they were living along the river. So there was this perception to say no, the black people are going to attack the white people. So it was not comfortable for them to live with us because there were so many people around, because they were working at the farms, Bosteridon Park, you know, Kayasend, and these other areas where there was a lot of big farms. So that's how our people were brought in to say, we are going to group you guys together. This is a transit camp. It's a temporary shelter. That's why Diepsloot is, even today, we can't fix it, because when it was established, it was supposed to be an informal.
Was it supposed to be informal settlement?
It was an informal place. It was not meant to be developed. We were being placed here so that at a later stage we will be taken somewhere else. Same like, same like when they took people from Alexander next to the riverbanks, because they were flooded. They would bring them to Diepsloot. So every time when there's some things happening somewhere, they would take people and bring them here.
I see. So my mind is splitted into two now. You know, I wanted to ask about sports, which I will ask later, of what happened since, you know. But then since we are still on a bit of a history, minor history, and a bit of a background of Diepsloot settlement as for where it is, don't you think moving black people near their suburbs, where they were close by and there was kind of a mix, and putting them in one settlement, don't you think that was an opportunity for actually black people to get together, get along, and live in harmony than they are separated now? Because we cannot regard a Diepsloot citizens as unity. They are very separated. We are way separated, and we are separated due to the employment opportunities. We are separated in terms of businesses running around. We are separated in terms of the race and tribalism itself. We are not unity. What do you think caused the division among Diepsloot while they were supposed to be united? Because they were brought into misery.
I think to answer that, it was more about power. The white people wanted to remain in power, but our government said they want to bring people so that they can give them service. We can't have black people staying under the trees or in squatter camps. Not really squatter camps, but the area that we're living in, it was plots that belonged to white people. So it was very difficult for the government to purchase all these plots so that our people can get a place to stay. Remember, that's why majority of people around Diepsloot, they're coming from outside Gauteng.
Yeah.
So we are all coming from outside the province and then coming here to work. So we needed a place to live so that we can wake up and go to work. So the easier, the closer place where they could allocate us, it was around here. Although some people coming from Alexander, they found it very difficult, because when the Marasteg people from Alexander, those are the people that occupy from extension 1 robots, where you call it robots, traffic lights.
They were robots.
All the way down to extension 11 going down. The whole of extension 1. Those people came from Alexander. It was a massive majority of people who came there. And there was fight, right? People were fighting. They never wanted to come here. Even some of the people, they still own some shacks in Alexander, but they still live here. But when people started getting these article houses, then they started to settle. But people used to spend weekend in Alexander so that they can still feel they never liked here. Because it was, remember when we arrived here, it was a peaches farm. We found peaches here. Remember Christmas time when it comes, we used to get bottles. You know, the clear bottles, like mayonnaise bottles. And then we would go around picking up all these peaches and then to make a jam. That was just for free. Because those white people who were living here, they left all these houses and farms and left all those peaches. And then when time comes, and then they get yellowish in color, and then we'll just go and...
You guys were supposed to continue taking care of them.
It's supposed to be a huge business.
Yeah, but the problem that happens is because when they started erecting shacks and all these places where people should live, they started cutting them down. We wanted a soccer field, and then we had to cut them down and have a soccer field. And then later on, 2 years down the line, you come back from work or from school, you find that there is shacks
at the soccer field.
Yes.
Where's the
even when there was poles.
But you see, that's the problem with us. When we develop, instead of keeping some things that are going to bring attention and money and popularity and give us a good image and good standard, we also want to remove that for a shack. There must be...
No, I think it was because people wanted more shelter more than other things. Even now, Diepsloot is still hostile to sports. You don't find... I've created so many netball teams, I've created so many soccer teams, but where are they now? We don't even have a player that is playing in the professional league today. We do have these youngsters that are growing now, but by by force, trying to get into Sundown's team development and all this.
We have two, I think, so far in Sundown's team.
Yeah, but when you listen to them when they get interviewed, they say they're coming from Brits or Hammaskral or something. They don't even say they come from Diepsloot, because their parents come from wherever they come from, and then they would say, no, I'm from, like same like Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny said he came from Brits, and then he never said he came from here. Johnny was a soccer player. He went to play for PSL. He went to Kaizer Chiefs development, and then he went to Maritzburg, and then he played for. He went on and played for professional soccer. Yeah.
And he forgot that he's from here.
He didn't forget, but it was more for opportunities. Because when you say you are from Diepsloot, remember we used to have strike almost each and every month.
Yeah.
There's tires bending, and then when they want to employ you, and if you say you're from Diepsloot, they will say no.
You are a threat.
Yes, and then now some of our young people, we coach them. We say no. When they say where you from, you say Diepsloot.
Oh, so there's a bit of confusion.
Yeah, when they want to clarify later on, you say no, I said Diepsloot, but you are employed here.
Oh yeah.
I never said
now
Diepsloot,
I understand because
we
we had a very big publicity about it. Yeah, we need securities here. We need like tight security guys.
Yeah.
Do you have guns? These guys are invading our space. Viewers, what are we supposed to do with these people? Security? Okay, yes. I have a question.
You must remember, this situation that we are having now is because I've got lots of kids that are not mine, and they are always coming here, and this is a center for them, you know?
Yeah.
So they always come to report anything that happens in the street.
We forgot to say on the camera that this is actually a foundation.
Yes, it is a Bua Foundation.
Bua Foundation.
Bua Foundation.
And what is
Bua
it?
Africa Foundation.
You just ruined it. Bua. Yeah,
Wake
as in
Up
VU.
Africa
Wake Up Africa
Foundation, yes.
Oh, Bua Foundation.
But when I registered it, they said Vuma. They got So
then you agreed because it's Buma now.
no, I couldn't really do it.
You
I just left it.
Yeah, but it takes
The
time.
W went upside
down.
But it's still
Vua
the
means
same.
wake up in our language. Vua, wake up.
So before we I think we'll get into the Bua Foundation, into what it does and why did you establish it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know with the then Diepsloot and the now, as I think you give us a better perspective because you were more like in the forefront of the leadership. With all these things that were happening when it comes to the sheikhs just being everywhere, anyway, getting to a point whereby even today we don't even have like a proper, maybe we say ground, people have built sheikhs everywhere. It's just where was the leadership in all of this? Wasn't all of this facilitated?
Part of the problem was the leadership themselves, because people will, there's a lack of employment around.
Yeah.
So leaders who will volunteer to be on the ground all the time, they saw it fit that they should help people. If Lalas comes here and they say, I don't have a place to stay, they chased me away from an RDP house, and then I want a shack. And then one leader will take you and give you a space and say, erect your shack here, and then we'll sort it out later. But before there was a security here. If you look at extension 12 and 13 and then extension 1, there was a security where no material was allowed for extra shacks. So housing ended up giving up because there was no control. People who were doing those things were leaders themselves. There is no one around this road who just took a space. No one. If you see a shack everywhere, those people never put themselves there.
Someone was involved.
Someone was involved who had a little bit of power. It's either CPF, it's either a leader or what committee, it's either block committees, street committees, but it was more of to accommodate our people. It was not on a bad way to say they want to do corruption.
No.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask if they were all 100% legally placed or some back in Kamishigashi.
Not really, because if somebody comes here and said, I don't have a place to stay, and then I call one of the leaders and say, don't you have a space where you can put this person for now? And then you might probably find that that person has registered a house and then is on the waiting list. And then you're thinking, okay, while he's still waiting, but he needs a place to stay. And then that's how we feel for each other. You know, it was more of helping. And then people started to flock in here, saying, if you speak to so and so, he will help you. That's why we got Peter Dugas Korakem. May his soul rest in peace here, a lot of people.
Where is that Korakem?
Extension 2.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there is Shabalala Korakem.
Is the one behind the police station? That's Korakem.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then there is Shabalala Korakem, which is where we had a soccer field there, and then all of a sudden our kids can't even play football there now because the shacks are too close now.
But don't you think this whole thing of overcrowding every space with shacks, don't you think it's contributing to the crime that we have today? Because they get bored, these guys. There's nothing that they can do.
I was shocked to hear that when you go past the Zimbabwean border in South Africa, almost 60% of people who are passing there, even though they don't know where they're going, they will say Diepsloot. So we attracted a lot of people because
because there's this easy space.
Not really. This area it's got its own uniqueness.
Yeah.
It's very unique. It's accommodating. We got very poor of the poorest. We got rich people here, which you can mention few, and then if I mention 2 or 3, then you will realize that yes, they are rich. Some of them they left this area because this is the money spinning around here. It's a lot. It's a lot for business. That's why you see we got more than thousand of these foreign national shops. How are they surviving here? And then 2-3 months down the line, that person is already driving a buggy. You get all this. I was interviewed on 702 the other day. I told them this is a refugee camp with all the service deliveries that we have, but a nice one because we are sharing with them. You know, and when we are sharing with them because we are all Africans. And at some point we had white people living here.
We still have a couple of them. I see them shopping at Bambanani. That is far. And then there's another one who stays at number 4, not far from the street. I don't know which you are. But this guy, he's been here like the past 2 years. He used to beg. Like 2 rand, my friend gave me 2 rand. He's a white old guy. And then now, I don't know, he's no longer begging.
He's fine.
I don't know where he's working or what's happening with him, but he's no longer begging.
Yes, that's where Diepsloot attracts a lot of people because you come here empty-handed, a foreigner without any document, and then all of a sudden you are surviving. And then your parents back home will see you sending them money with Malaysia and stuff. So we attracted lots of people. And it was because of the receptionist uniqueness of it, where people who are working in 4 ways, they will find refuge here. People who are working in Sandton, it's easy for them to be here. Alexander, they didn't have any space by then, and then Diepsloot was an option because even people who were coming from Alexander, they would settle here and get houses, and then business are booming and all these things. So there's a lot of economic activities. That's where crime starts because it's no longer a residential area. If you go around here, you will see that there is a lady who comes from Mozambique, for instance, and the lady will spend 4-5 months and then start selling apples, and then all of a sudden she can be able to feed her kids. So it means this area, it's a mix of economic standards.
And it feels like us as South Africans, we are the ones who prefer to be more of a customer than of a supplier or of someone who's providing a service or of some sort. It seems like us, we are no longer more interested into business, but either working or supporting a business, if I put it that way.
If when I grew up, I used to travel a lot. even with my first job, South Africans are very much accommodating. And we are generally nice people, and we like visitors. I remember when I used to drive these foreigners around coming from Europe, they would find South Africans very, how do I put it? Very nice to them. And accommodative, yes, and they would do everything in their power to make sure that a visitor is very comfortable here. And that's where our tourism starts. So, because we are not violent people naturally. We are not. So we are very accommodating. Where you come from, and then you would share your sugar with your neighbor and all these things. So when you see a different kind of person with a different skin, you are more accommodating because you take that person as a visitor. But that's where people take advantage of us, because now they don't want to leave. They find it already. Diepsloot, we are more comfortable. I mean, the foreigners, those who doesn't have documents, because we are so accommodating. That's why we don't fight people. This xenophobic thing that you always hear people talking about, it's when we get upset. But how we get upset, it doesn't take long. But we still accommodate them, even though we are saying people are killing us, foreigners are killing us, and all those things. But we still don't say no. Let's go and kill them. You know, even though they are killing us.
And that is so true, because if you can check, I think I would say most of the houses that are here, they are owned by South Africans, and in those houses, in those years, they've allowed people from outside the country to stay in their yards. They don't even ask, do you have documentation, do you have ID, what do you do for a living? Like, they would allow someone to stay here, even if someone would be like, I don't have money for rent for like 2 months, 3 months, still fine. No, you can stay. Whenever you get money, you then pay. I think that one is really like a good point.
Yeah, that's true.
Really
and but you know, by virtue of being nice, and people end up taking advantage of us. You know,
and, 100%.
Even if you look, some of these foreigners, they're even taking their houses from our South African people, because when a granny wants to go home to their villages, they just give it to them or sell it to them. You know? And our backroom dwellers, majority of them are foreigners. So we have learned to live with them. If you say to my neighbor, hey, these foreigners must go, that means that neighbor is going to struggle tomorrow. So that's where the difference lies.
That's how
the neighbor is going to struggle. Can you show me there how?
Yeah?
The neighbor is going to struggle if we say that the foreigners have to go, and then it means that those who are renting them are going to
struggle. Majority
because most are depending on as a business. Now we build the rooms for business.
It's business.
No, but also
remember, it's business that you don't even pay tax for. It's free. If you build 10 rooms or 20 rooms, you're getting 1,500 rand or 1,200 times 20, tax free. The water that you're using, you're not even paying.
Exactly.
That's where government became lenient to us, because we're not paying. Our services, most of the services is being paid by people from the suburbs.
Now it makes sense.
So the taxi people, if you say, if you haven't noticed, if we say no, we are shutting down Diepsloot for 3 days, the taxi guys will tell you, what's going on? Why don't you tell us? We're going to struggle, because we are paying for these minibus taxis every month. So that's where the situation is so dire that it's not easy. We can't change it.
So the biggest businesses operating in Diepsloot, we would say, is the rooms, and then the taxi, and then the food.
Yeah.
Those are most dominating.
Yeah.
And
that's why even if you check out our malls, we got 3 shops.
And
they are saying these are the top selling shops. Meaning they are making lots of money.
Yeah, I remember the one at number 10 is rated in top 3 of the most selling in the whole Africa. The whole of Africa. So I want to know, okay, so we would never have a strike of South African, actually, saying that the foreigners are taking our businesses because they are the ones who are benefiting most in those businesses, that major businesses that are operating in Diepsloot?
Probably yes, we can't. Remember, I might be talking to you knowing that you are Lala's or this is Sirinde, not knowing that her father might be a legal immigrant.
Yeah.
Who came here looking for a job, and then the mother is a South African, you know. And then when you start doing that, if she joins you and then she can't go and attack her father. So the situation has gone past where we can identify each and every foreigner to say they must go, because at our school, Paradise, majority of those kids, more than 1,500 kids, and the majority of those kids, their parents doesn't have documents, legal documents to be in South Africa. So those kids are going to grow and then grow with our kids, and then how are you going to tell them to do xenophobia strike? We can't. Only to find, we have done it. I remember one day when we went to Extension 11, we were looking for this foreign guy, and they're saying he's doing a lot of crime. And when we went there, they just told us, oh no, the very same guy that you were working with is the same guy that we're looking for.
Wow. That is weird.
Yeah.
That is very weird.
Yeah, we were like, where is he? And then we look around and he was gone. But he was helping us all along.
Helping you look
That
for him.
And speaking proper languages, local languages.
He's like
And
proper.
yeah,
So tell me about these extensions. We have extension 1 up to extension 13, or do we have 14 now?
no, we don't have extension 14. We're going to have Tanganani extension 20. There is 28. We're going to have 29, 30, and all these things from the new development.
Tanganani is going to have its own numbers.
Yes,
That this is
another
Tanganani
extension.
what? This
Yes.
is Tanganani what?
Yes, so the project that is coming is going to extend Diepsloot via the Diepsloot East.
But then
Okay.
doesn't these naming conventions, like your ward 113, ward 95, doesn't it divide the people? Like, how does it
That
work?
is its purpose.
Yeah.
It's for service delivery.
Oh.
So that a ward should consist of 300,000 people. Let me just give an example. When you pass a budget, you must know that 113, yes, there is 19,000 registered votes. When you supply service, you know that okay, this money is allocated to the voters of 113. This one what 95. So that's the demarcation. The IEC demarcate that to give proper service.
That's why we
in
have
terms
to
of
vote
budgets.
in the land. That's why we have to vote, my dear.
It's very
Because
Yeah.
and now we are benefiting the services of the voters.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? We don't get enough services. People doesn't know that we don't get enough services because of the number of registered votes.
Please say that again for the youth to hear this. Like, please say that again.
If we are 800,000 in Diepsloot and registered voters are 19,000, the IEC has got record to say in 113 we got 19,000, and then in 195 we got, let's say, 15,000. So if you add that number, when the municipality pass the budget, they are saying, or do demarcation, they are going to say how many registered votes are there, because they expect that each and every South African should be eligible to vote.
Yes.
So you should vote for the party of your choice. You are doing it for your own service. So people who are flocking from other provinces, they will vote there, they come here, but they are still sharing this, the services with us who voted. Yes, here.
It makes sense.
So the 19, when they say, okay, let's say maybe we are 800,000, but the numbers is saying registered votes are 19,000. From 800,000, that means the number of services that we're going to get, it's going to be lower, but the people, that's why they're saying Diepsloot is overpopulated. Because on records, when the Stats SA comes to your house, and then they say, how many fridges are you using in your yard? And then you've got a TV, and all those things. If you go to IEC stats, you will find all those things. And then that's how they gauge 113 to say, this is 113, this is 95. We got young people who are 30,000. We got older people who are doing pension. There are 55,000. And then they will say the youth, we got this, we got girls like this, how many in numbers. So when they do service, that's how they check to say this ward need this kind of money in terms of budget.
Yeah, I hear. So Bra-Godfrey, you are still in the leadership. You get to interact with the youth day in, day out. I mean, even now as we're speaking, we have an audience of young people here. How is the involvement of the young people when it comes to such things as voting, as ensuring that the service delivery, like holding you as the leadership accountable? How is the involvement? Do you think that us as the young people of Diepsloot are involved, or we are not interested?
We're not interested at all, and it's very disappointing. But like you said, it is the responsibility of each and every leader in our township to make sure that they educate. You start at your own house. If you can leave your house and go and vote, and leave your 3 children who've got IDs not going to vote, what are you telling? You can't go to your next door neighbor and say, please tell your child to go and vote, but yours, you left them at home. So we need voters education. Like for instance now, next week there will be voters registration. That's where we need to ignite this process and make sure that young people get interested in this. While you have an ID, you must know that this is my freedom, and then I'm going to make sure that I liberate and then make sure that I get services via this ID. So our parents fought to make sure that they get that chance just to make an X. Why our young people are not interested is because they don't see any need, but it's because they never learn. They are more focused on their education. They don't even know that having NEFSAs being given to our young people, it was a political decision. It was a political decision that was made somewhere to make sure that these kids, they get funding.
So like it or not, young people should never say, I'm not involved, I'm neutral, I'm not getting into politics, because either way, the politics are responsible for the whole system and how you live your life today and all the services that you demand. Because young people today, they don't even, they don't do anything but to demand. Yeah, government is not doing this, government is doing this, government is not. And you leave those people there, badira for the vote, register. Then you go into the house, you connect to Wi-Fi, here we demand them for free from those people. Then you complain about them on the social media that day. So I think we should put down the phones and go do the real thing.
That's true. And stop drinking alcohol. Alcohol abuse, it's a very serious problem in our communities. Because even during the voting day, they would rather choose to make it a holiday and go and drink and spend that time there. To stand on the queue for more than 3 hours, they will get very tired quickly and go and drink and say, no, I'll come back around 5. When they come back and then the queue is still long, and then they say, no, let's just leave it. But somebody's making decision for you on your behalf while you are sitting there. Look, in China, the youth there, they know. China, if they are saying they're going to build a town, they know that or even existing town, they know that Beijing will be looking like this in 50 years. 50 years, it means you will be a mayor of that city by then. But you never know. If you don't start voting now, that means you are not making decisions for you and your kids in future.
That is true.
It keeps me on my feet.
Yes.
Am I doing the right thing?
Oh no.
Because I look at
if you are not voting, okay, yes, you will say me, I'm a leader. Yes, I've been leading in the structures in the community and all those things. But now I'm focused on certain things because I saw a loophole of the young people not being guided properly. Our young people here, because they don't have class. So those things you learn while you are young. You can't learn when you are old, because you can't tell people that person is making noise for neighbors, whereas he was not told when he was young. So it's not easy to tell that person when he's grown up, where he feels he's independent. You go and say, no, don't make noise. And they will say, who are you? Those kind of things. So it's kind of those kind of scenario that we are in now on the ground.
Have you noticed that even these public holidays that are on our calendar, youth doesn't commemorate them anymore? Have you seen how ignored was Mandela Day this year? Have you seen how disregarded was our 16th June? What could be the cause here? People don't give attention to these things anymore to celebrate this public holidays that we have, including heritage. We used to have a lot of fun, you know, when there's heritage, almost everyone would want to wear tradition and go somewhere and do something. We had our smaller thing at the park there, yeah, people were there, the king was, most people preferred even to be outside than to be inside. What makes people not to be more interested in commemorating that?
They are interested. It's just that the information is not flowing properly. There is nothing that interests them. When you go out to do a marketing, you must know who's your target. So with our community, those people who are doing these events, they are not even marketing it them properly to make people get interested, the young people. And remember, most of the young people here, I will talk specifically for Diepsloot. The reason why they don't come there is because they are not South Africans.
Oh yeah.
And
so they don't
very few young people who are South Africans get to interact because we are dominated by foreigners in this. That's why I always call it a refugee camp, a formal refugee camp, with all the services that we are sharing with these legal and illegal foreigners. Yeah. So the young people, they're not getting. Remember, come January, there is a young person who's passing matric from Limpopo, coming here to look for greener pastures. So do you expect that child to get involved in Mandela Day? That person is still new in the township. They're still trying to find their ground. What is their ground? Their ground is, first, they know what they came here for. They didn't come here for entertainment. Only weekends you'll find them drinking. And then during the week, it's either they're looking for employment or they are at school, university. So those struggle on the ground, because the majority of our people are still living they're from poor background. So for you, when your parents are looking forward to green future, and then here you are, you come here to Diepsloot and then you get dissolved into music, and then they will say, but how are you going to support us back home while you are busy focusing on music? You're drinking alcohol, and then you're doing all sorts of things, and you're doing all sorts of things at the wrong time.
Do you think that I think we've said a mouthful regarding the young people? Do you think that probably we as South African youth, we are being spoon-fed in a sense that everything comes easy to us? We don't want, like, we're not as hardworking as probably the nation or the current state requires from us.
No, I think that's who we are. We are not lazy. People will call it lazy, but the apartheid government, remember, we were oppressed for more than 300 years. And these things that the government is giving us, we deserve them, because we were robbed of our economic future. So people must not compare us with people coming from Uganda, for instance, where they were working like slaves and all these things. So we were oppressed. We were punished by apartheid. We fought this system to go away so that our people can get equality. Today, when we get this equality, that's why they are balancing all the pasts from the past to say black people, because they are poor because of the situation that we went through. That's where we get supported, so that if I am a parent and I'm earning 5,000 rand, I know that in that 5,000 rand I can be able to save. My child, when they go to school, they will get food there. They will get a grant. the grandfather will get a grant and the grandmother will get a grant, so that they can survive, and then we must focus on building this country. It was not more of giving people things for free, because today, if you look how this government, led by the ANC, of course, helped a lot of people to. Some of them today they are millionaires, which is fine because we never had a lot of black millionaires. It was so difficult for black people to get into the industry, business industries and all those things. So those opportunities that were given, people should know that they were not there forever. And then even now, whatever we are getting, if somebody takes over and come with a different policy and say children are no longer going to get grants, that means our people are going to feel a little bit dropped off, So those things were done intentionally so that our black people doesn't feel. So it is a wealth of this country that we are sharing with the people who were running our economy, because people who were running our economy were from Europe, taking all the minerals, selling them, making a lot of money. Some of them today, they will never be poor. Even their grandkids will never be poor because of that. Because the future is already set for them. So if your parents died without anything, then you as a third generation and you still have nothing.
On to the, I think there's some young person there being like, we are being butchered here.
Yeah.
On to this VOA Foundation. Why did you start it and when?
I saw, when you get into houses and people, we used to do door to door, and then we'll go around writing down what people need, what is their problems, and we find that people are not complaining about food, but they are complaining about their kids. To say, I'm losing my kid to drugs. What should I do? I don't know who to turn to. The police can arrest a drug abuser, so somebody must get involved there. So I saw that loophole and said, no, let me get involved. One by one, I can make a difference.
Yeah.
And yes, I've made a difference, a huge difference, because on a daily basis, I interact with young people all the time, and they come here, they tell me their problems. I told them, this is not the end of the world, and then don't do drugs and all those things. That's where I'm focused. And our community has got lots of challenges that we are facing, and some of them, they are behind closed doors. You can't see. You will see when you're walking down your street, you just see beautiful streets, swept, nice, but go inside the houses. That's where the story, you get different stories. That's where it will change. I don't blame the pastors for opening all these thousands of churches here. We've got more than 1,000 churches, I think. That thing is helping to mold the being of the young people, and we must encourage people to always pray and look to God for solutions, because we've got evil people here.
How many?
A lot of different kind of people here.
We have
people run from wherever they come from, committing crime and run away to Diepsloot. So we don't know who's who.
Others, they come from where they are, and then they come and commit crime here, and then they are counted as crime that they are actually not from. I have most of shoplifters now. They are not from. They would rather come from another caste and then come do this thing here because they are not known here. And when they are exposed, whether they know nowadays with this social media, while they are being searched, someone is taking them, but no one around here that that is.
But it's said that they're from here.
So I want to know, since you say that we have like thousands of churches, how many of taverns do you have?
We got lots. Because remember I told you about the economic activities that are happening here, and alcohol is one of the biggest consumed drink product in South Africa,
Yeah.
especially in the townships.
Exactly.
When people don't have any activities to do, they will resort to alcohol to push a day,
So the
to
people,
push for those hours. Even the gangsterism that we fought here in Diepsloot, most of the young people, they will mug people for money, and then they will, or for jealousy against each other. It starts from schools where they're hosting or they're doing this, and then others they bring lots of alcohol, expensive ones, and then some of the parents are giving these kids a lot of money, and then some of them they get jealousy, they start forming their own groups. That's why we had a very serious gangsterism problem here. And through DRA, Diepsloot Resident Association, we sat down and say how we're going to deal with this, and then we dealt with it. And then through Bua Foundation, yeah, we did, and it was one of the most successful operations that we have ever done in Diepsloot as a community, because it was very scary to deal with those young people. But today, they come past here and say thank you very much, and we have changed.
yeah, but it's been a while where I had that. Yeah, there's a group from Extension what that went to attack a group from what. I think from last year I didn't hear much of that.
Not from last year. It was 3 years in a row now. We don't have those incidents. Remember, these groups, when they say Maperis, Maperis were more than 250 in numbers. Yes. And then you get to Mavandals, and then they were like 150.
Mexico.
Yeah, the Mexico, the wrong lines, the wrong pens, and the lowest group in number was the something young Gempela. There were 7, but the most dangerous ones.
Where were they from? Which extension was that?
Extension 7, and they were around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was like mixed extension.
Yes, that's where you found the notorious, the late station. They used to call him Station Commander. And he used to rest in peace. He came here before he passed on, and then he was very much into drugs, and later on he passed on, and then he got very sick, I think from poison or something. We don't know what happened, but he passed on. But many of them are in prison, like the likes of Boskana, Bobongani, Gift passed on, I think 6 months back, and then he was attacked by people at Extension 1213 because he was stealing, and then he was a little bit mentally disturbed, you know, and they couldn't understand him. But by the time when I arrived there, I was already late. Not that I was promoting that he must do whatever he was doing, but each and every child born from a human womb should be protected, you know, and be guided. From the organization where I went to political school, we were taught that young people must be allowed to do mistakes, and then they must be taught and shown or guided so that they learn from the very same mistake and they become adults who are more responsible.
So you can never point a child and be like, nah, this one is an animal, he cannot live within the people. Actually, we believe that every child can change if given a chance and good guidance.
And we got system in place. The jail. Jail can change a young person. Not even a rehabilitation center.
What do you mean make them worse?
Or make them
No, not really. That is, they have a system that has worked before. And there is no way that you can go to prison for 4 years and come back and be worse. There is no way.
You can't come back the same.
You can't come back the same.
and with prisons, I guess.
So Bra-Godfrey.
So most of those gangsters, those who couldn't change, when we told them to change, they are insensitive.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't reach them, but there's nothing we can do. We can't help them. We can only help these people who are, these youngsters who are already here.
Yeah, but like you said, some are not okay. Because
it's drug abuse, it's crystal. It's terrorizing our youngsters. And one day, I was shocked to interact with a young person who works for Woolworth. And then later on, we found that he was abusing crystal. And then they had to chase him away. And then he stayed here, and then he was unemployed, and then he was part of the people who were killed in Honeydew.
I still remember that thing when they had some people and they killed them.
So,
Mob justice.
how do you get to like change perspective of more than 200 and something let me say these young men and women? I'm not sure, were they ladies in these gangster?
Yes, there was.
So how do you get to change like all more than 100 and 200 people that are doing this gangsterism thing? Like how does that work?
The only thing that we did was to conquer and make them fear the community. So some of those youngsters, those who didn't want to change, they knew that the community will come for them if they don't change. So that's how we managed to change. We changed to change them. And those who didn't want to change, they continued with whatever they were doing. Today they are languishing in jail, and there is no help that they will get. And those who managed to change, today they are at varsity, they pass matric and all this. Because what we realized in between, we found that some of these youngsters were forced to be part of that for protection, not really from their liking.
Yeah, but because of
The situation where we are, the place where we are living. So it is not easy to raise a child in Diepsloot.
2 more questions from me. You once led an entertainment firm. When I knew you, when I first met you, you were managing a group of dancers. There were many. Like they used to be called Spiders.
70 of them, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember this group would go on stage wearing white, and the other one come with military, and the other one come. Where are they? Did they grow up to be now they working, or what happened to the whole dance thing?
It's a very long story to tell how I get involved with those youngsters. At a certain time, I found myself having to manage 70 kids. None of them I knew. And I had to mold them from 11 years until when they finish their schooling. And they used to dance and entertain people. We used to do lots of shows. They used to win competitions, and then I had to regroup them to group them to do groupings, because at a later stage I found that because you can't mix a 17-year-old and 11-year-old, so I had to split them so that when they go to perform, they do their own thing. So today. I did that thing for more than 12 years. 12 years, but as I speak to you, the majority of them, they are working. My focus there was more on boys. Like I told you that the kids here, I found them, the behavior is like village children. They don't have class. Because they will do... Some of them they do change and then they become different. But from that pool of young people, boys and girls, 6 of them, I managed to take them to university. They completed. Some of them are working today. The like of Joseph Maluleke, he finished his degree. KG was here yesterday and he's working now. He's got a family. Joseph has got a family, and then I always check them on Facebook to check how far are they. Amante now he finished his degree as well. Many of them they through my guidance, and then I managed to mold them into what I needed. And then they come here to thank me, and I always tell them I owe you nothing. You don't owe me anything. So for you is to just go out there and make a difference to the community, but never leave this community and say because this should be their home. I'm still here.
I'm asking that one thing, like, I believe that was a seed that, because one of the boys, Andres, is still dancing.
Yeah.
It's now refugees, now doing that work we were doing.
Yeah.
Now,
Took over,
yeah. And you know, but he meets boys and girls, but young, you know, because he's also
Right from
truly young.
Yeah.
Can't take the ones older than him. So he just took the young ones. And I see it being a seed that is going to continue. If he stops, his younger sister, who's now one of the best dancers in that group, might take over and now lead the coming generation. So sometimes we make a generational impact without even realizing it. You might have a short vision about something, even if it's long. You might come to a point where you say, "I've done enough, and you know, up to here I'm done." But if it's still going to manifest, it will manifest. The nature will, or God will still manifest it on your behalf.
They still watch themselves performing live on ETV morning show. And I remember vividly the day when they were going to perform. Arrangement was done to say 5 o'clock they should be at Hyde Park. And they were all there. But to my surprise, all the schools didn't go in at 8 o'clock because everybody was still at home trying to see them. It was so fascinating. And immediately when they become live on air, and it was the Facebook comments were flying like nobody's business. The community was excited and all these things, and that's where I saw that you can make a difference doing little things, one day at a time. You don't have to rush. And those people, those young people, they still live with that memory. And then when they want to do something wrong, they think where they come from. So we can make a difference. If there was 20 or 30 Godfreys, imagine the difference.
Yo, today for the first time, we didn't have a podcast where it dwelled more on crime. And you know, it's hard to challenge this man. He talks positive.
He doesn't dwell on the negative side of it.
Yeah,
He's always on the positive.
So he sees Diepsloot in a way that most of us don't see.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't
That
think
is
myself. I don't see Diepsloot as
the
the
way
paradise
he
is
does.
just.
And also how he sees children.
Yeah.
You know, because when you
So
look at a child who does something wrong, you might think it's done for this one, but he doesn't see it.
We don't know there's another one who behaves differently. And if we take that one and put on a spotlight, he might even change the one who's going astray.
Exactly. But there's something that he mentioned that is like still on my mind. He said Diepsloot is not a place to raise children. It's not a good place to raise kids. Like, what did you mean by that?
If you don't change your neighbor's child, the very same neighbor's child will attack your good child in future. You see? So if you are raising, I always tell my children, I said, do you want to live like me? Get education and fly away from this township. Come and visit, and then we'll be proud of you. That's what I wish for all these children of Diepsloot. Not to live the way we live. You know, the place where this area is infested with crime and stuff, you know, where you drive a nice car and then you get hijacked, like what Fifi went through. You know, she gets shot because she was just driving a car. She doesn't even know today why she was attacked. You know, maybe because of a small, beautiful car. But it is beautiful in Diepsloot, but outside is nothing. You know? She was attacked in one of the townships around here. So those are the things that I'm talking about to say. If you are raising children here, you always have to be on the lookout. There's no way when you spend 4 hours without seeing your children, you must ask where are they? Yeah, but somebody inside Denfen or inside Fourways or State City, they know that okay, my child, if I don't see my child here, might be in the computer room or playing games or going to the shops, and then they are safe because there's security and all these things. Here it's a wild, I don't know how to, it's a jungle because you never know who's who. There is a lot of people who are flocking in here day in and day out.
Every day you meet a new face.
Yeah, they're looking for places to stay. Where are they coming from? So what are they here for? So a child might be kidnapped in 2 minutes. If you don't see your child in the street, and then the next thing the child has been mugged or kidnapped, you never know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's not the best area where you can raise your children.
Yeah.
So that is what I mean.
So do you still have any other question before we can close this off, Valas?
No, I want more about crime. You answered.
No. You can't do that because he's not going to be about that. He's not going to be about that. So I think since you don't have any, are you sure? I'm going to ask you for the last time. Are you sure?
No, I'm sure. Bra-Godfrey, what I'm going to say is I'm very proud of, the activation you did with the Paris gang. That we saw most of them just being at school. Some of them, dealt with the way they were supposed to be dealt with. Some of the things are beyond your control.
Please explain what are you talking about for someone who doesn't know.
What I can say is there was one child I used to mentor as well. He used to be in a gang like this, and then he was the victim of the stabbing, and then he passed on. You understand? But he was not from the Paris gang. He was from a different gang.
Yeah.
They were Russians. Yeah, it was just unfortunate. My boy was stabbed by that gang. You understand? So the gang rivals are not really manageable. That you can know where they are every day, these kids, and what they do. But one day I came here and I found the knives, different, very deadly knives. Yeah. There was this panga that was like a dragon at the back. Yeah. They had a dragon image, and then it was designed like this, like a snake, And it was very, I would ask myself, if this thing gets into your stomach, would you breathe the next day?
Yep.
And, but for them, and as you told me that you didn't take those things from them, they brought them.
They brought them. We had a program. Credit must go to the Diepsloot Resident Association, for helping us deal with that situation, because they were backing us all the way. Even with the patrol teams, when we started installing gates.
Yeah.
Remember when there was crime?
Now we have gates.
Yes, we had patrollers, and then we hired young people with dogs. All these bush areas and the pit bulls. They were using them to patrol the street. And we were making money because each house was contributing money so that we can pay them at least 1,700 rand a month for young people who were loafing the street doing nothing, So from that situation, it did help us to deal with the situation of gangsterism. And then when we had I was helped by virtue of having resources. I've got a stage, I have a sound. So in order to attract these young people, you need to put a stage there, call them to come and perform, and they must get busy. So we attracted them, and then they came, and then they hand over their knives in front of police and all these entities, And from there we monitored them, and then some of them who had cases that were pending, that were still on, they had to come out and say, I'm the one who killed so and so. And then the case was closed. Closed in which way? They had to go to court and go and stand for whatever they did. And then some of them were jailed. And then they came out,
That's accountability.
And today, some of them, one of them was telling me he's got a young child now, and then he's a father now, and then he doesn't want to go back to those things. He doesn't want the child to see what he used to do, and then those kind of lifestyle, and then he's looking for jobs, which was good. That's how you change the society.
Yeah.
Day by day, do your bit, somebody will do his bit as well, or her bit on the other side. Together, you'll find that. That's why every time I support any or every initiative that has to do with the young people. You know what I believe? I believe that any society that doesn't invest in young people they can't be guaranteed a good future. True, because tomorrow you are going to be that president, you're going to be that councillor, ward councillor. How are you going to lead whereas you'll be high on drugs? Who's going to elect you? So other people will come from somewhere to come and lead you here.
You know, in closing, Bra-Godfrey, on the show we always ask people, hypothetically, if there was someone from anywhere who doesn't know Diepsloot, how would you describe Diepsloot to them? But I feel like he has done justice to that, like throughout the interview, like he has explained the good side of it. And I think for someone who doesn't know Diepsloot, they have a picture of what it looks like and how the future
maybe Kasi
like.
Uncover.
So
maybe Kasi Uncover would be the first platform to write the good stories of Diepsloot, because Bra-Godfrey, every podcast we had this issue and challenge that when you Google Diepsloot, you only find the issue of strike, xenophobic strike, crime, gangsterism, kids being killed, kidnapped, and all that. We don't get the stories that we discussed with you today, the positive side of it. Like we had almost the whole podcast on how we are accommodating, how lives were changed in Diepsloot and all that. So I think Kasi Uncover might be the first.
Exactly. And in closing, Bra-Godfrey, I know you have been a leader, you've been doing this thing, you've been doing such great job for the youth of this community. What more can we expect from you?
It's more of let's give these young people more opportunities. If they want to do music, if they want to play football, let's create those soccer fields, and then let's create those opportunities. Those who, not everybody will get educated. So if given a chance, somebody who might drop out might have some talent. Let's give them skills. Skills. If a young person has to learn how to do welding, let that person learn when they are young. If they want to do cupboards, kitchens, and then they must learn when they are young. That thing will help us to mold their future so that they can be self-sustaining. And then it will also, upgrade our community. I still have a complaint to say why Mabokoboko, after winning, they never came and toured Diepsloot. But in future, I want to see Mabokoboko coming here in a bus, and our kids should be shouting in the street and then seeing those opportunities that one day I can be playing for Mabokoboko. Why? Because they went to Soweto, right? They went to Soweto. Why didn't they come here?
Because we are not in
any reason. No, we don't know.
Still here.
We don't know. Because that's how we need to paint Diepsloot in a good, and then get involved. You can't complain about crime, whereas you don't even know how the SAPS. We've got the biggest, one of the biggest police station around, and then how young people are getting involved. Where are they? There's a youth desk that young people need to come up with a solution. But we always see only old people there patrolling the street at night. So where are the young people? So if you don't invest in young people and educate them and make them come closer to you, they will never learn. Because that's where the future is doomed.
We are very relaxed, Bra-Godfrey. Now it's time we make changes, we change gas. And then put Diepsloot on the right map, write it in the right books.
I've met people from Diepsloot in certain areas where I never thought I would meet anybody from Diepsloot. And then only to find that person will tell you that my mother is in Diepsloot, I was raised in Diepsloot and all these things. But the area where I found them, it is high places. So it means we got potential. Anything can happen.
No, thank you so much.
There's one question we didn't ask him.
Which is?
Would he also want Diepsloot to change the name Diepsloot?
Oh yes, we've had Bra-Godfrey that Diepsloot was supposed to be called Noweto. What is happening with that?
There's some people they wanted to copy Soweto and bring it this side. We rejected that name because we don't want to be another township's copy. We wanted to be ourselves, and then we want to remain the community that we are. So changing the name won't bring any good thing. It's for certain society, a certain group that wanted this Noweto, but they've got their own reasons, which is understandable. But for us, it doesn't make any business sense. But to cleanse the name Diepsloot so that somebody can say, no, it's a new township and all these things, you can change a name, but not Noweto. It can be something else that we can have a referendum and people will suggest and then petition and then change the name. Because the name Diepsloot is not Diepsloot, this township. When we came here, Diepsloot was all these plots, all the way, Lizonia, everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It was Diepsloot going all the way to Rikasha area there. Those plots are all Diepsloot. And Diepsloot has been there. If you Google a map of Diepsloot in 1960, it was there. That Diepsloot road, all these names, all this, there's nothing new. So this township is a newly developed township after democracy. But when we came here, we found a plot and then we saw a board written Diepsloot. That's how we call it Diepsloot. Yeah, because from Randburg, remember we used to use Randburg as the main town where we buy groceries. There was only taxis going to Brits here, coming from Randburg. So we found those boards, and then we didn't know how we were going to call it. It was Diepsloot. That's why we said extension 1, because extension 1 we came first, and then extension 2 they came from Zevenfontein, which is Godipola, and then extension 3 that was Tanganani. Tanganani, it's people who were working in the hospital industry. What do they call it? Like hotels. Hospitality industry. Yes, and then somebody from their scheme, pension scheme or whatever, they used to buy houses for their workers, you know. And then that's how they bought that land, and then people bought land there, and then that's where they were building, and then they brought another kind of houses there, they tried to build, and then those kind of things. And then we went to number 4. The name RDP that came to me, it came from the mayor then, Mr. Kekana. Mr. Kekana was the mayor, and then he used to tell me to tell people that RDP houses are coming. So every time when we have a meeting, I'll say, no, don't worry. One day Mikuku itafela, and then we'll get RDP houses. They ended up making mockery of it, and then they ended up calling me RDP. And then even when I was playing football, they started calling me RDP. They started laughing, and that name stick because I never wanted it, you know. And then when extension 4 came, those were the first houses that were built, RDP houses. They cleaned that area and then they built. And then from there, they went to the area where they call it extension 5. That's why on the map, those are not the original names or extensions. And then from extension 5, they went to extension 6 and built and moved people there. That is from 2000 going upwards. And then we were brought here from extension 6. They gave us the stands, empty stands, which was for people who were earning more than those who couldn't qualify for RDP houses. And then they gave us stands so that we can build for ourselves. That's where extension 7, Maibuye, the land must come back, because they took this land, which was a plot. That's why even today, from 2001, we're still fighting for the title deed for this land, because it has never been changed or rezoned. Because there is issues with the road reserve, where people are moved to Riverside View. And then we went to extension 8. Extension 8, it was more of these. It was not RDP houses. It was low-cost houses. They look like RDPs, but you pay bonds. And then they went to extension 9 to build the very same houses. They are not like, they do look like RTPs, but they use the face break, a certain kind of face break. Extension 9, and then from there they build extension 10. those one, Extension 8 and Extension 9, they were built by a company, and then they were selling them as low-cost houses. And then we went to Extension 10, built the houses there, and then Extension 11. And then Extension 12 came because those were people who were coming from Zevenfontein who were left behind. When those people went to Cosmo City, and then they were brought there by the then former councillor, Mr. Maya. And then it became Extension 12. And Extension 13, people who were taken from number 2 when there's floods and all these things, and mixed with other people coming from other areas, and then they were placed there. And then Extension, there's no Extension 14. Then we went to Riverside, and then Riverside was built mainly for beneficiaries coming from Diepsloot, because we never had any project that would benefit our people. We have been living here since 1995, and the development, proper development, took so long. You know, although we do get better basic service, but we are getting overcrowded, and people have been living in shacks for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then we needed change, you know. And Riverside is one of the place where we can look and say they are part of Diepsloot, and then at least Diepsloot is developing and improving. You know, people have changed. Some of the people were living in shacks. You go there and then you see the complexions, because they are bathing using hot water. You know, there's geysers there, and then their life is good now.
There's
They've
not
got-
too much admin when one
Yes,
needs to
they
buy.
even afford to buy fridges now. Some of them bought cars, you know. That's how we want our people to live with dignity, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and we had more of the best background of Diepsloot.
Exactly. So thank you so much for your time, Bra-Godfrey. I think may you please continue being the person that you are to our young people. You don't know who you're inspiring, when and how. And also, I think the saying of just do what you can even no one is watching, because you don't know who's watching. I think he's the evidence of that.
Of that. That's why his place is crowded with young people even now as we speak.
You know when they say
Yeah.
talk it, walk it like you talk it.
You talk it.
I think this is the man right here.
Yeah, for
And
real, man.
exactly. And with that being said, what do we say?
Oh.
Thank you very much.